Hey guys, what's going on? I'm just waiting for people to enter the chat. I hope you guys are having a great day. I'm looking forward to getting into a lot of information. I hope you guys could hear me well. And if there's any problems with audio or anything like that, just let me know in the chat. I have the chat pulled up over here. So if you see me looking over here, it's not me being rude. It's just me following the chat. I actually wanted to do the chat on OBS today. Unfortunately, it's just not working. You know, technology sometimes, it just doesn't work, especially when you want it to. It'll work any other time, but the minute you want it to, it won't. So right now I have people just coming in the group chat now. So if you can hear me, just if somebody wants to just say, yes, I could hear you fine, that would be great. All right. I'm just going to wait a little bit longer just to actually cover some of the information I want to share with you guys today. I hope you guys have had a great week. It has been one hell of a week. I got my ass handed to me in karate today for 2 solid hours, earning a new belt, and actually it was quite the workout. So a shout out to anybody from the dojo that's going to be watching this today or at some point. It was a great day today. Quite a red week for ILIS shareholders, as I talked about in my last video, but we're going to rebound nonetheless. I have a really strong conviction in the future of that company, in which I'm going to share with you guys why in a little bit. We're going to talk ILIS, CYBL, Igpk, Nugn, Cgra, a lot of the tickers that I'm invested in or interested in investing in. I know a lot of these. I have a large watch list that, you can't buy them all. I mean, for those that can, kudos to you, but I'm very selective with what I go for. And we're also going to do a bourbon, a shout out, and we're just going to keep it going. So, yes, they could hear me. Alec, yes, sounds good. Yep, fine, good. All right. Play that guitar if you can. Believe it or not, I have a master's in music, and my major instrument was piano, and I minored in guitar, ironically, which was absolutely cool. It was, just being able to do that, and I do it for a living now, which is great. So maybe one of these days I will pull a guitar off the wall and start playing for you guys. So, all right, I'm just going to go for this, and anybody that wants to, back up and not watch it live and just sort of just catch up, I'm going to be posting this and so that way anybody can watch it. So yes, last week, it's hard to believe it was, a week ago I was in Miami at the shareholders meeting for ILIS. It was absolutely great. Like I said, if you didn't watch my last video, it was an overwhelming experience, not so much in regards to catalysts, but just meeting people that I have become friends with over the last couple years. And getting to shake their hands and have dinner with them and have some good conversations and some good drinks, it was absolutely awesome. And I'm not one to fly around and go travel across the country, but this is something that I've been invested in for a while, and I've developed some great relationships with these people. And I said, why not? Let's go do it. And so Arlex we hopped on the plane and went down to Miami, meeting Chord, Rickers, Eagle, countless others. And it was an absolutely freaking awesome time. And I cannot wait to go to the next meeting. And you know what? I told Chord it was going to be in Florida. That was my guess. I told him it was going to be in Florida, and he thought it was going to be in Vegas again. So you know what? We'll have to have a hefty wager on that next time. So I'm looking, and we have, let's see, a conga player. Cool. Sunballer. Yeah, percussion's awesome. So. Yeah, let's get into this. I want to just share with you guys some of my thoughts, and I'm going to cover a lot today. And if there's any question that you have for me, I'm going to try and remember to look at the chat here. I'm trying to be the one-man band. I got my foot on the bass drum, and I'm singing, and I'm playing the guitar. Not literally, though. This is just, an example. So, but no, seriously. So, I'm beginning. You know what the cool thing about being a YouTuber now, fancy little YouTuber like me, you learn to use all these programs like OBS, Adobe Premiere Pro, and it is sort of like a frustrating thing, learning how to do all these things, because you want to add one little thing to a video, and you end up watching 2 hours worth of YouTube videos on how to add those things in. But you know what? And I got to say, some of my students, shout out to some of you guys if you're watching. My former students have helped me a lot in the tech realm, I guess you could say. So let's talk about, what do we want to talk about first? All right. You know what we're going to talk about? Let's do Igpk. That's the one I sort of wanted to talk about first. Yes, and I got notes on Igpk. So let's go right here. And there's a lot I want to get into. So if I'm going too quick, sometimes I just need to pace myself and slow down. You can just tell me to slow down or just like rewind it. So, all right, IGPK, right now they're at a 0007, pink current, and you can see that these guys are audited, and their latest report was 9/30/2022, and they are fully SEC reporting. I have 2 million shares of this. I'm going to tell you what I have in each of these stocks, whether I own them or not, and how much I do have, give or take. I have about 2 million shares. It's like 1.9 and I think 500 or something like that. So let's move on here. Let's go to some of the tweets that they've had. I did reach out to them, as well as some other people did as well, telling them I'm working on some integrated content. Is there still going to be a cannabis deal in the foreseeable future? And they got back to me. Yes, they are. Each deal takes about 6 months from start to finish because we cannot close a deal without audited financials. And that's actually something good. That's something I want to see, that they are making sure that they are maintaining that audited status and maintaining that SEC status. So the Burbank Buzz. Hey, second door on the left. That's all I'm going to say. Welcome. And if you haven't, go to the Burbank Buzz. Subscribe to his channel. This guy's awesome. He had me in tears laughing at the annual shareholders meeting, and we're going to be doing a collaborative. I'm actually really excited about that. That's one thing that I am really excited about. So, we're going to talk Web3, and actually listening to Chord and him talk about Web3. That should be a thing. I think we should have him on, but I want to get the Burbank perspective first, and then we could have some debate on Web3, which we were living results of the Web3 essentially at the annual shareholders meeting. So let's look at the IGPK, some of their tweets. All right, and I want to go back to Oh, I was already on it. See, there I was. So on the 23rd of January. This is what they said in regards to that. And I do have a letter from them to another shareholder that reached out to them, and we'll get to that in a second. Let's see. We are committed to completing the cannabis transactions in California as soon as practical. I have completed my due diligence and discovered that the ball was dropped and nothing was completed in December. We have reached out to our audit consultants. They are ready to receive and review information. They need to assure me that the audit can get done and prepare financials for the audit. So I expressed that time is of the essence, and we need to close these two transactions quickly. This will not drag out months. But like I just said, this can last up to 6 months. And, I know, let's see, who did I know? It was a bank manager. The audit process, is tedious. All right. It's not meant to be easy. It's not meant to be a one and done. All right. It only takes a week. We're audited. We're good to go. It's much different. I guess you could say this is not something that's going to happen overnight. And a lot of us know that because of, if you held ILIS, you know that this is something that could take 6 months to 18 months. It is a tedious process. So hopefully these things do happen. And they got shirts. They do apparel to this company. All right. So, and that's sort of been the running joke about, if you need a t-shirt, I know ILIS International, hey, you guys need t-shirts, right? I'm sick of printing mine. I'm just kidding. So this is what they just came out with on January 23rd as well. IGPK Consolidated has started its prime season and will begin reporting a monthly sales of over $100,000 starting at the end of February. New websites for IGPK and Consolidated's online store to launch in a few weeks. Pics of daily shipments are below. So I'm excited to see the new website that they put out. I'm excited to see the revenue that they bring in from this part of the business. But I think many of us are awaiting the whole, the cannabis element to this business. IGPK here, Consolidated, this was January 31st, is working on its next acquisition, a garment manufacturer. And this is, so we were just sort of joking about this, like, you need shirts? You got shirts. All right. I gotta laugh. All right. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, certain followers, you guys know what I'm talking about. Need a shirt? Integrated. There you are. They currently supply MTO and countless others. This will increase the amount of USA-made products sold by Consolidated and could increase annual revenues by as much as $2 million. So they're making strides in the right direction. And I think that, when you get these acquisitions, you don't want to get an acquisition just for the sake of doing it. And that's one of my biggest concern. And shout out to 716 Bill's Mafia. I will take it. You know what? The Super Bowl is going to be a little hard to watch this year. It really is. But you win some, you lose some, and there's always next year. So yes, shout out to the Bills Mafia. And I like about the acquisitions, like I was talking about. I want to see companies take their time. JP Backwell said it, and I'm going to use ILIS as an example because I think they do provide many good examples of what you should do when acquiring businesses. You want to make sure you dig as much as possible. You want to make sure that there's no elements to that business that are going to end up being toxic or harmful after you acquire them, especially when it comes to debt. So you want to make sure also that, there's a solid revenue stream coming in and that they're profitable. You want profitable acquisitions. And when you have profitable acquisitions, that makes the negotiation process all that much more difficult. So, hopefully Igpk, they're doing the right thing. And I want to go back to a viewer, or somebody tweeted this, FYI, Igpk shareholders, I emailed their new investor relations email and received a response within 48 hours as stated in their automated response. I asked about updates on the cannabis acquisitions and audits, ETA to completion, and additional revenue from acquisitions. So this right here, this is what was responded. This is what they responded with. Sorry about that. I can't talk today. It's been a long day. When you get that crap beat out of you for 2 hours, it jolts your brain a little bit. So they replied with this: there are no new updates to share right now. Our audit consultant is reviewing the data and will report to us to let us know if we can proceed or what steps need to be taken to complete their audits. Since we are a reporting entity, the audits must be completed before closing, and I'm told the entire process from initial contract to closing can take up to 6 months. I do realize the deals have had some time to run on the clock for them already, but with the change in management, we lost time as well. The company and I are 100% committed to closing these 2 transactions. It has been reported that initially the acquisitions will add an additional $500,000 in monthly revenue with a minor capital infusion from our Reg A. This could increase to around $1.5 million a month. So with those numbers, that is very, very promising. All right. Like I said, I have almost 2 million shares of this one, and I would love to see this puppy go on a run. I really, really, really would. Man, I'm due for a win. I know a lot of you guys are due for a win, so we're sick of seeing red, but you know what? There's been recession, there's been inflation, there's been balloons flying everywhere, there's economic pullback. It's crazy. It is what it is. So, you just got to ride it out. Actually, you can do whatever you want. This is not financial advice. I want to make that clear. I'm not going to tell you guys to buy or sell. I'm not going to give you the latest hype stock. I'm only going to share with you what I'm interested in. And I'm not, you do what's good for you. If you need to sell because you're behind on your bills, make sure you sell and pay your bills. You only want to invest money that, you can afford to flush right down the toilet. And so I guess if you would have told me I have what I have now in the market, if you would have told that to me like 10 years ago, I would have said, that's crazy. You shouldn't be doing that, because at that point in my life, I was not able to afford to lose money because I had bills to pay. I had to pay for rent. Well, we also got to pay. Rent becomes a mortgage, I guess you could say. So make sure you guys are careful out there with your own money. You guys work hard. Make sure you protect it, and make sure you look out for numero uno. Make sure your bills are paid. Make sure your mortgages are paid. Don't go into debt to flip pink sheets. Don't do it. But like at the end of the day, you're going to do what you want. It's your money, and just be careful with it. And I'm not going to lecture you anymore. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. No more lectures, but just be careful out there. All right, next, and I want to cover this one because I know many people, I don't want to say have been burned, but man, they've been burned. Cybl. I got to give them an applause for consistency. They said that they were going to, Mark said that, we're going to give an update every Friday, and he has done it, and he has done it officially on the OTC site. I got to say, I think that he's frustrated with this whole process, and, having 1 million shares of Cybl, I hope that this gets taken care of. And I truly think it does. The business itself is growing. They have government contracts. They have so much to share. They really do. And I think that they're going to. In due time, they have to get the right filings. They want to get back to SEC reporting. There are so many things that they have in the pipeline, especially with these drone contracts. And if you haven't, and I'm going to go back to Igpk for a second. Gene Kaizo is the CEO. I had an interview with him. So go through my content, actually look at the interview, I'm gonna have him back on the show again, and that's what made me think of that was I had Mark and Mark Schmidt and Brett Rosen on for an interview, and it was a great interview. So go through my content and go check out the interview. It was good. It was great having them on, and I'll be honest, it's been one of the coolest things about this is sitting down with people that are in the trenches of the OTC and picking their brain and really finding out the details of what goes on behind the business and and catalysts that are upcoming. So it's really, really cool. Let's go on. Cash and cash equivalents at the end of the period. This was for up to Q3 last year for them at 1.2 million. So, and if you compare that to the previous year being in a deficit, whatever, they're in the positive. I don't think, and they had a good net profit as well, a very strong net profit, and they actually used that to reinvest in their research. So I think the CYBL the business side of it, I think is solid. The paperwork side of it is a complete train wreck, and Mark knows it. Big investors know it, and hopefully this thing gets straightened up. I just clicked on the show. Have you covered any CGRA yet? I have not covered CGRA yet, but I will be covering CGRA soon. So I'm not trying to mess up your train of thought. Listen, it doesn't take anybody to mess up my train of thought. I do that completely fine on my own. And I'm not gonna lie, like doing these live shows, you don't get takes on them. That's the funny thing. And somebody can be like, "Oh, it's fine, you're doing great." You know what? Doing this, I find you become much more picky with things, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it is absolutely cool to be doing this. I think I'm gonna try and do this every other week. Would be great. I would love to go live with friends and get people on that could answer questions in regards to trading and business or whatever you guys are interested in. And if you guys want me to cover anything, just put it in the comments section. So do you think that CE has cost them any of the government contracts? I don't think so. I really don't. I think they're expediting this quickly. And as a matter of fact, the new lawyer that they brought on board, if I read correctly, and I may be completely wrong, they do specify in regards to working with the defense sector. So, and that's the Michael Best agency, if I'm correct. And it's a top law firm. So I don't think it really did. Whether or not it did, who knows? I know this for a fact. Somebody did post the contract. They posted the contracts, but they had to take them down. I think that he wants us to know that there are things getting done. Do I think that they still got the contracts? Do I think that they are going to be supplying the DOD with drones? Yes, I do. And as a matter of fact, there was a list that came out, and I forgot where I saw the list. And I hate to saying I saw it and not being able to cite it, but their drone, the Flight Eye, was on there. So that's something to look forward to. And I think he mentioned upwards of 150 million that they're going to be putting out this month in regards to the drone contracts, which would be substantial. Absolutely. Well, here it is, guys. Sorry, I need a little water. So this is the infamous update. Now, listen, I am not a big fan of the verbiage. I really am not. Something like this: full audit plan, process requirements identified. I get it. This is just me being just a nitwit. But everything has its purpose. The business update. This line right here is what I'm very, very excited for. Let me just go through this. Cyberlux's Defense Board of Advisors convene for tactical plan execution. 4 new foreign market opportunities in development. All right. If it's 4 different countries, those could be 4 different government contracts. I'm not saying that's what it is, but how cool would that be if that was the case? So, I got to say, here it is. Year-ending 2022 business performance and report filing in compliance review. I'm really excited to see what they nabbed in Q4. And, Mark was over there. He spent time in Ukraine, and I think he was really building the business, all while the paperwork aspect went to the wayside. And this is not going to be a very popular decision, but when you don't have a huge team behind you and you want to make sure that you're building your business the way you want to, I think he was willing to let that slide, knowing that he was going to get some really substantial contracts. But now we're at the point where he needs to turn over the reins to somebody else. I'm not saying resign from CEO, but in regards to financing and the filings and all that stuff. So, and I think he's going to do that. He's going to have, my alarm's going off. He has people working with him. He hired a new law firm, and I think that they are going to go up and to the right, like he said. So, you just gotta take the good with the bad, and I'm definitely gonna ride this one out. I see this as a long-term play. And, there are incentives for them to get to 10 cents. There are incentives for them to get to 25 cents. So, it is what it is. You know what? At the end of the day, I pulled the trigger, I bought the stock, and I'm going to own it. And I'm not going to sell it at a loss because I like Mark's character. I think that, when I had him on the show, he's very genuine. I think he gave me straightforward answers. You look at a guy like him and he will just give you the answer. He gives very detailed answers. And he gave me what he could. So I thought it was a really good interview. If you haven't checked out Mark's interview, please go through my content and check it out. It was great having those guys on. And I got to say, to all my guests I've had so far, they've been awesome. And if you haven't checked out any of the interviews, please do so. All right, Paul. Yeah, you know what? Speaking of stock twits, I'm going to say this right out. I still have my account. I am not going on. I'm not going on it anymore. I'm not posting my videos on it. I sort of want out of the whole stock twits. When you're arguing with people that you don't even know, it's toxic. There's nothing wrong with asking questions and trying to get information. If I could give one tip of advice, surround yourself with people that are knowledgeable, that are going to share you quality information. And that's half the problem with the OTC. Half of the people shouldn't even be investing. And I'm saying that would have been me a year and a half ago. What are you doing? Why are you investing? Well, I'm a much different trader and a much different person. I consider myself more of an investor now than I did before. If you wanted to learn how to lose a lot of money, I was your guy maybe 2 years ago, and maybe that's something I shouldn't be bragging about, but that's just the truth. You're supposed to get stronger in life. You're supposed to learn more and become more knowledgeable as time goes on. And I would like to think of myself as somebody that has grown in learning about the ins and outs of trading, specifically the OTC, and knowing not just to buy the top and ride into the hype. And if you miss the train, you miss the train. Too bad, catch the next one. And that's it. I think a lot of people get caught on the top because, it's that itch to just get in on something special. And a lot of times what people do is they take their hard-earned money, and it's true. And I've seen it happen to people, and I've done it. You take your hard-earned money, you see a great YouTube video or report, you fail to do the DD maybe that you should have done, and what do? You wait, your money clears 2 days later, and one thing I'm learning is always have money ready, so that way you don't have to wait. But then you wait 2 days, and boom, that sucker has pumped for days and days and days on end, and what happens? You go, all right, it's 9 a.m., I can't buy in pre-market, I'm going to buy it, boom. Then what happens? It just, and then it messes with your head. And so I think that, for me, I want to find substantial companies that have revenue, that have products, that have government contracts, that have a clear process. And that's why I am an ILIS holder. That's why I do like the vision with Igpk. Let's see what happens. It's starting small, but you know what? I'm glad I got in it. I've been watching that one, by the way, for, I don't know, I was watching for 6 months before I pulled the trigger on it. And that's one thing I'm learning to do, especially with it in a recession. Let everything settle. And we're still not done yet, but just let everything settle and then pull the trigger when you're ready. And that's what I do. I'm not telling you to do that. You do whatever you do. You do whatever you want. Easy money days are gone. People learn all the wrong lessons in 2020 and 2021. I agree with that 110%. It's not, that was and it created people like me. And I'm not bashing on myself, but this is the truth. A lot of what we have here now is people that got burned because they had no clue what they were doing. And if I could rate myself on a scale from 1 to 10, I'm a 2 right now. I'm still learning the process. One of the things I want to do, I want to learn how to options trade. There's so many things. Buying and selling is the easy part. Learning why you are buying and selling is more important. And that's 90% of it right there. But he's absolutely 100% right. And a lot of people learned the wrong way. And unfortunately, it created I think it has created a toxic environment, and people got burned on plays, and there's a chip on the shoulder of a lot of people. So I'm going to take my losses and learn from them, essentially. Burbank, thanks for chiming in. Anything that you say in the chat, I'm very thankful for that. Burbank is a smart guy. Check out his channel, Web3. All right. So just looking through this, you could go right on, and just take a look. Longer term 2023, install full SEC compliance process and resource. I'm hoping complete audits, regain SEC compliance. I'm hoping that they do get that done by the end of 2023. But like I was just talking about audits, this isn't something they're just going to fill out a form and be like, oh yeah, we're just going to get our audit done. All right, see you next week. We're going to be SEC reporting. It doesn't work like that. it's a nauseating process if you're a CEO or a CFO. I could just imagine. So that's really all I had on CYBL right now. But I am definitely going to be. What are you LOLing? What are you LOLing? I just want to know. No, I'm just kidding. I'm actually behind in the chat. So I'm a couple minutes behind. So actually, I think I'm like 45 seconds behind. So let's go back. And I want to just take a quick break from this talk thing. I actually wanted to give a huge shout out right now to Laura. Laura, if you're watching this, I told her I was going to stream this. She got me this absolutely awesome Christmas gift, 3-chord bourbon. And this one, I got to say, was absolutely shocking. This is, and those of that have followed this channel know I like to throw in the bourbon tasting review. And by the way, there's a channel called Whiskey Bonded. If you haven't checked it out, this dude has the best shorts on YouTube, bourbon shorts. Absolutely awesome. So if you're into bourbon, if that's your thing. But yeah, Laura, thank you very much for this. This is one of the best budget bourbons that I have actually had. I was very, very impressed with it. Wait, I got a question here. Was there any mention about the share structure at the ILIS shareholder meeting? Also, I hear that ILIS might not be uplisting to OTCQB. Was there any talk about what they plan on doing instead? The OTCQB is still an option, all right? However, there may be a chance for them to directly uplist to the NASDAQ or a big board, all right? We're going to see what happens. They would like to go directly. QB is still on the table, but they're gonna play they have their hand and they're gonna play it appropriately. So I'm hoping that as the months progress, we see their progression, and they've done a nice job. But I'm very excited for them. Like, was I expecting them to already have that QB form in? Yes, but that just tells me that they are probably there's more in the works that they haven't shared with us yet. I have full confidence in those guys, having met them. Totally. So this bourbon here, I'm going to get into the description, sort of like I normally do. The bourbon of the week, 3-chord blended bourbon whiskey. Just as 3-chord progression is at the root of the blues, music is at the core of 3-chord. A blended bourbon whiskey infused with harmony of rich taste, complex structure, and a smooth finish. 3-chord is steeped in tradition, yet revolutionary, using proprietary blending techniques and a secondary wood showering process that creates a melody of caramel, vanilla, and maple notes, like the feeling you get when you hear that perfect song. You'll know 3-chord blended bourbon is right with that first sip. Oh yeah, so I gotta say, this, and no, this is not a paid promotion. I just like covering bourbons. I get absolute vanilla and sweetness on the nose. This has been, I've gotten to try in 2022 about 20 bourbons. This is in my top 5 straight up. Laura, thank you very much for this, by the way. Vanilla straight on the nose. Gasoline. No, I'm just kidding. Not gasoline. This is great. Vanilla caramel. It's buttery. Yeah. It has a nice finish. This is delicious. Man, how many bourbon enthusiasts do we have with me today? If you guys like bourbon, put your favorite bourbon down. Actually, if you could in the chat. If you have an idea that I should try or a bourbon I should try, let me know. And that brings me to this. Who else do we have in the chat? I just want to sort of scroll up to see if I missed anything. Make sure you use the second door, not yeah. That was funny. Oh man. Well, I do want to give the cheers of the week, the official cheers of the week, to this guy right here, Rob Solarchek. I hope I said that correctly. I actually we were on our way back after having dinner with Rickers and Egal and over at the and Arlex over at the shareholders meeting, or not the shareholders meeting, at the Trump International Resort the day before the meeting. And upon arrival back at the Ramada, I got a chance to meet Rob. And Rob has been a strong supporter of the channel, and it was great sitting down with him. We had a couple drinks that night and got to talk shop a little bit, talk ILIS, talk CYBL, talk about all these things. And Rob, I just want to say, absolute cheers to you. Thank you for being a supporter of this channel. Absolutely awesome to have you on board. I'm so glad I met you, and cheers to you, Rob, sir. That is so good. My goodness. That is such a delicious bourbon. It really is. All right. You know what? If you guys haven't already, I do have a Patreon. I do have BFC merch down there. So if you want to contribute, just hop on the Patreon, earn the merch. There's sweaters, there's stickers, there's shirts. And I got shirts, I got notes. Another inside joke with the people that I talk to on a regular basis. There it is. You know what? CEO Gene Kaizo of Igpk, he had a lot of notes during the interview. Actually, you guys could get a chuckle out of that. If you go and check out the interview, look through my content. He was awesome. But he kept saying, I got notes. And I'm glad he did have notes. He had a lot of notes. So, it was good having Gene on. I look forward to having him back on again. But, yes, let me pull up my notes here and make sure that I'm not dropping the ball. All right. So, yeah, I mean, if you guys have been following me a little bit before I get into some of the other stocks, I've actually decided to go back and get my real estate license. I'm pretty excited about it. Going into it, I'm doing an online course, so it's just a lot of reading. There's 24 modules, and I have about, and I'm not even kidding, 100 pages of notes on each module. And it is crazy. It's all real estate law and for New York State. So my head was spinning that first module. I'm like, okay, I see what I'm getting into now. But the journey is going to be nice. It really is. I'm excited to see what how I do in it. I plan on hopefully selling houses by spring, and hopefully this is going to be another revenue stream for me and open up some opportunities. So I'm going to keep you guys posted on how I succeed at that and whether I pass or fail. So my last test, I got an 82% on module 7. It was agency law 2, and it was tedious. It was tedious. It was, but I learned. I learned some new stuff, and I can't wait to take the test. I'm taking the actual test. I think my goal is to get the whole thing done by in the next 30 days. So I'm going to hustle and get it done. All right, Jeremy, I'm with you long on CYBL. The foundation is stellar with that company. All stocks are running, everyone. And one comes to mind, AIAD. Enjoy all the content, man, and go Bills. I will look at AIAD. So I like checking out new stuff. So if you guys are subscribed to my channel, if you have a stock you want to throw at me, go ahead. I'll do it. Man, this bourbon is so good. I'm not going to be able to talk in a second. Wow. All right. So let's get on to it. Let's get into, what do we do? Do we do ILIS next? I say, why not? Let's get into ILIS. Now, they closed over 6 cents today. It was a bloody week, but it was to be expected. And I think we flushed out a lot of people that were not, they just weren't happy with the delayed Serbia deal. I think that it was, I think people were just fed up, and that was it. I'm a long holder. I expect, things aren't going to go perfect. All right. It's not supposed to go perfect. And, if people, somebody mentioned them, they already have plans to pivot. They already have, yes, a good business has plans to pivot. They have contingency plans. You have to be an idiot if you don't. I was just talking with Tom, actually, Tom, who I met at the shareholder meeting. I was talking with him. Hang on one second, guys. I was talking with him this morning, and basically, I've got to pull up my screen here. Boom, boom. Here you go. The whole thing is we're holding long, and he's in the restaurant business, so that would be like you have to vacate the property that you're using. Let's say you're leasing a property for your restaurant, or you're renting your property for a restaurant, and to say, hey, you have 5 months to get out. Well, you're going to have to get out. So you need a plan in place, and I think that's where they're at right now. All options are on the table. I think that they're planning appropriately, and there's nothing wrong with that. And if Serbia doesn't work out and they have something better, perhaps, maybe something better works out. You know what? Just because something is delayed, or let's say something doesn't work out, doesn't mean it's all doom and gloom. And, people are forgetting, with ILIS comes Quality International, and we're going to get into that in a little bit. But, I mean, these guys have done a significant job, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But, all right, so yes, we closed over 6 cents. There was no changes in the share structure recently. So I know Egal put out an awesome tweet. I don't have that tweet pulled up, but he put out an awesome tweet basically showing Cgra, Qind, and ILIS, and that there have not been any significant changes at all in the outstanding share count. So that's that. ILIS right here. What was I going to show you guys? Okay, and so actually I'm going to get to that in a second. I do want to get to this. All right, I like how they laid this out. At the meeting, I really enjoyed the new slides. You know, they're easy to follow. And yeah, so this is the ILIS structure here. Emergency response, industrial, renewables, and defense. You got ERT, Quality International Replay Solutions, and Hyperion Defense Solutions, which, by the way, I got a chance to talk with the gentleman in that sector, and it was really, really cool. We're talking about not virtual reality, but mixed reality. We're basically, I'm not going to get into that as much because I don't want to explain it real stupidly, which it's easy for me to sound stupid, but whatever. Basically, you know, he was telling me about the goggles that you put on and stuff, and you could see your real hands, but it's integrated with virtual reality as well. It's based on, I think he said, whether it's based on heat or color or whatever it is, but it's basically like a mixture of reality and virtual reality, mixed reality. And I may be explaining that wrong, and I'm going to do a little more DD, so when I do cover Hyperion, I do it appropriately. So sorry for that botched description, but however he explained it to me was pretty damn awesome, and I wish we could demo some of that stuff. That was actually my only takeaway at the meeting that I could say I was a little bummed about, was getting able to try some of the products. I wish they had some of the stuff there. And, you know, they do conventions, they do travel and do product demos, but I was sure there would have been some stuff there that we could try. I think that's down the road, but at the end of the day, we're the shareholders, we're not necessarily the customer. So, but down the road, I hope they do that. And I really particularly liked when they did, how they laid this out. I would love it if and this would be cool. And let me know if you agree with this. I would love it if they just updated this. If they updated the just this form right here. Not that one. Completed. Letter of intent in negotiation targeted. And then they could just highlight, you know, where the changes have been made. Instead of putting out a tweet. I know people get mad when they communicate. Augmented reality. Thank you. By the way, thank you. Augmented, not mixed reality. Mixed reality. Augmented reality. Newbie, thank you for giving me the shout out on that. That is the word of the day. Augmented. Augmented reality. And speaking of guitars and 3-chord, there's a chord called the augmented chord. But I'm not going to do a music theory lesson today. No, I'm not. But I do like this status update. I think that they should utilize this so that way, they could even like highlight something in red if it didn't go through, or just take it off, you know, boom. Or if they add something on, it could be like blue, as opposed to putting out a tweet, you know, basically saying, you know, oh yeah, we're in negotiation, or we have a letter of intent. I like this, but let's look at this and break this down a little bit more. Firebug, the vehicle converters, BCD Fire, Bullhead Products, Georgia Fire and Rescue, Quality Industrial Corp, Replay Solutions, Oshola Safety, Quality International, Hyperion Defense. This is a company that's been busy. They're busy. They're doing things. They're adding revenue. And somebody was complaining about the fact that their organic growth isn't as strong as their acquisition growth. At the end of the day, ILIS is a mergers and acquisitions company. And I am not going to say, oh, yeah, they have acquisitions and they only got $5 billion from an acquisition. That's ridiculous. No, the truth is that is a foolish argument. The fact that they're adding value to the company, getting revenue-producing and profit-producing companies is absolutely important. And as they increase their revenue through acquisitions, it's going to fuel their organic growth. Absolutely. You know, it's just... Sean, hey, what's going on, man? I think it's great. So the 2023 forecast is 160 million. The 2024 forecast is 250 million. Now look at what they have a letter of intent for: Qind 2, which we already learned about that one, and Qind 3, ERT 7, Hyperion 1. The 2023 forecast for these potentials, and I say potentials because they are not closed deals, 125 million. The 2024 forecast, 160 million. If you think that they're not taking all these things into consideration in regards to like their market, they absolutely are. And so I like the forecast and whatever. If they're overshooting a little bit, I don't care if it's a little bit, because we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars, and hundreds of millions of dollars creates billions. That's important. Here's some that are in negotiation. Replay Solutions 1, Hyperion 2, and ERT 8. Forecast for 2023, 45 million. 2024, 55 million. And targeted in discussion. Here it is, ERT 9 and 10 and Hyperion 3. 2023 forecast, 950 million. Whoo! And 2024 forecast, 1 billion. So I really, really like how they have this. So that was cool. 2023 milestones, things to look forward to for ILIS. 200 million in revenue, subsidiary uplist, expansion of renewables and defense subsidiaries, ERT, fire vehicle and equipment manufacturing in the U.S., certification of fixed systems for European Union, U.S. markets, hiring of senior QIND, ERT, ILIS positions, completion of 10 plus acquisitions across the group, NetSuite ERP integration across current acquisitions, consolidation of new acquisitions. Well, you know, these guys they're smart. They know what they're doing. And I got to say, it was really cool to learn about the renewables and replay solutions. I think that's going to be pretty wild. I think it's going to be very lucrative, especially in regards to the elements that you get from breaking down a cell phone. But that's for another video. I am going to be covering replay in its own thing. And I don't want to jump all over the place and get too crazy on ILIS. I want to cover a bunch of stuff today. But, and I do like how they laid this out. One thing, my beef here, I wish they would have put, and they really can't because the 2022 financials aren't completed yet, or they're not complete, or they couldn't do it. So I hope they actually put out to 2021 to 2025, just so we could see that growth. And you're going to see growth there, just to put it all in perspective. So I don't know. That's just me. I wish they would have put 2022, but they can't because they haven't released those things yet. And their SEC reporting, they want to make sure they do things appropriately. They are definitely watching their asses. It's important. So another thing is, looking at, we talk about Quality International, and, Serbia's, it's on a delay. Well, I'm not going to talk ass right now. We're not going to do that one. Let's see. Quality. Let's look at the fast facts for quality. Penny stock, OTC. All right. When you talk about that, you don't think of thousands of employees. And that's why I really, truly believe that they do not belong in the OTC. Now, granted, this is a QIND company, but we own the majority of QIND. So, and let's talk a little bit about that. The fast facts: QIND is a mergers and acquisitions company focused on industrial, oil and gas, and energy sectors. SEC reporting, $200 million in revenue in 2023 projected. Quality International acquired 2 further acquisitions. One, like I said, already got done. I have a video covering that. Go 2 videos back. You'll see that. Clear plan to spin off and uplist to the NASDAQ. So at the end of the day, this directly affects the ILIS books, and they can report it. And the fact that they have almost 2,000 employees under their umbrella is quite remarkable. And in my opinion, this is an astronomical deal. Absolutely an astronomical deal. So while we could get upset about Serbia being delayed, I'm not going to look past this. These are the types of deals that they're putting together. They're not easy. They're not your mom and pop shop. They're not acquiring 2 pizzerias or chicken wing joints down the road. They're acquiring companies with hundreds of millions in revenue and orders. So, and I guess they have a lot of orders. You know who else has a lot of orders? The ERT, Georgia Fire Rescue Supply. They have a lot of orders coming up. But we're going to talk more about that. Like I said, that's going to be its own video too. So I could actually go through that. Bullhead. I'm referring to Bullhead. I'm sorry. So not Georgia Fire. But Bullhead. Actually, let's look at this real quick. Why the hell not? Seeing I just wanted to do that. But, hearing Dan Peters talk was actually really, really cool. I'm not going to lie about that. Like, when he took the mic, that guy has a clear vision to what they're doing. And I think that they couldn't have picked somebody better to lead ERT at all. The guy was the president of Rev Fire Group. If you're not familiar with Rev, go check out their stock price. All right. They're a New York Stock Exchange company. So right here real quick, I'll cover Bullhead. They had a sluggish start, manufacturing flow, mid-year, new leadership. The year end, they had record annual sales, and December was its largest revenue yet. So, and they had first brush truck relationship established. So, looking forward to this year, they're going to have staff upgrades to address increased quote activity, ride the uptick in truck availability. I don't know how chassis availability. I'm going to say that wrong. build on the brush truck relationship and expand. Goal is to double sales for the year. Something just tells me, and he did talk about the supply chain and how that really has affected them. That affected them in 2022. But I have a feeling they're going to exceed that. When you just get the feeling, I just got a feeling they're going to exceed that. So that's what I have there. So yeah, I'm very comfortable with ILIS right now, and I wish I had more shares. I'm only putting in what I could afford to flush down the toilet. And so, here is that other quality acquisition that they had. It was with Petroline. So they're going to pay for this thing in tranches, just like they did with Quality International, based on their performance. So whatever. I mean, nothing but good things coming here. So yes, it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows. Business is tough, and these guys are busting their ass. All right, let's talk a little bit about Cgra. Now, I did have a highlight. So it closed at 2. I actually had an order for 215. I actually did not buy I actually have 54,000 shares of this, but I ended up grabbing 2 million of Igpk just because of the risk versus reward, I guess you could say. It's 0007 stock, and if that thing goes on a run, I'm going to be very happy about it. But I do plan on getting Cgra little by little. I hope this thing runs on news. All right, let's talk a little bit about what they have in the works. Let's see. Cgra has agreed to terms with its first 2 acquisitions and expects to complete the due diligence on the first acquisition within coming days. The company anticipates signing of the share purchase agreement within the next few weeks, leading up to the brand's participation in a niche global sports event early in the new year. This business already sells from the USA to more than 10 countries through a limited distribution channel with minimal marketing, and is now perfectly positioned to expand its range and scale up globally. The second acquisition is that of a disruptive IoT company with technology aimed at sports venues, stadiums, events, and other lifestyle venues globally. The technology is highly scalable, and the company has already featured pilot installations at several leading sports stadiums in the UK, USA, South Africa, and Australia. Due to the value added by the technology and the vast interest in it, we would expect to gain global uptake within a short period of time through partnerships with global brands on a revenue sharing model. Cgra has begun preparing an S1, which it expects to file with the Securities and Exchange Commissions, the SEC, in the first quarter of 2023 after filing of the audited annual results. Following the effective date of the Form S1, Cgra will be subject to the reporting requirements of the SEC. If that doesn't get you excited, seriously, that should get you excited. Listen, I want to get as much out of this as possible, but I would love to get more of this. I know what you're thinking. Well, you could have had more, but you bought Igpk. There's so many to choose from. I don't know. But, heck, this thing could go on a tear, and I hope that it goes very well. I have an average of, like 247 or 274 or something like that. But like I said, I have 54,000 shares of that. So that's my little take on Cgra. And, if you're watching this right now and you thought Cgra was an oil play, it is not an oil play. No, it is no longer an oil play. Those days are done. We got Nick Link, and he has a completely different vision, and it's going to be great. And actually, I call it the link factor. That is why I am invested in Cgra. So that's just my personal opinion on that. Another stock that I wanted to cover was Nugn. All right. Somebody's blowing up my phone here. All right. This has been on my radar for a while. I have not bought into this one yet. It's been on my watch list. I probably am going to get some shares of this at some point. And here's another one. Hey, I had Justin Matthews from Levental Group, from Nugn, on the show. We did an interview. If you want to learn more about this stock, go through my content and check it out. He's going to come back on at some point. Dave, the CEO of Nugn, I'm working on having him come on as well. We'll probably do a group. I'd like to do some kind of a forum. And you know what? I actually am going to have many more people on in the coming months. So I'm pretty excited as the channel grows to get more guests on. And you know what? As I find stocks and companies that I'm interested in, I may not necessarily buy them. I might just try and get a CEO or a marketing director or an investment relations director on just for the hell of it, just to pick their brain. And maybe the information that I bring to the table from this channel can help somebody invested in that stock. That's just my personal opinion. And, you know, I've enjoyed this. This has been a busy thing. And if some of you guys get, if you're wondering sometimes why maybe I'm not posting like for 4 or 5 days, it's because of work. You know, I have a lot of obligations in my personal life, so I do try to put out as much content as I can. I truly do. But sometimes you just got to take a step back and check yourself before you wreck yourself. It's just the truth, you know. So I want to make sure that my heart's in this 110%, and I'm giving you guys quality information and not slop. And yes, I do like to have fun at the same time. So, let's look at this real quick. The market cap, 14 million. Authorized shares, half a billion. Outstanding shares, 234 million outstanding shares with 168 million float. So, you know, it's a solid structure here. I think this thing's going to run there. And I actually, you know, looking, I do have some information here that I actually reached out to Justin. You know, Levental has had a busy quarter ahead and is considering as one of the most promising stocks on the OTC. And you know what? I think that his heart's in this 110%. You know, they are fully reporting, like I just said. You know, the Form 10, you know, it's approval pending. You know, this quarter, the management team has strengthened with a CFO, and 2022 financials and plans for 2023 will be announced very soon. Once the Form 10 has been approved, the company will proceed with uplisting, name change, and ticker change. Current exciting growth projects are Eurodot and the acquisition of AI-focused software development company. If you would like... you know, if you want to reach out to him, he is really accessible. You know, reach out to Justin Matthews of Levental Group. I had him on the channel. Look at our interview. Watch our interview. And he's a great guy. So, I mean, he will share any information that he can on their progress. You know, and if you are a NUGN shareholder, good luck to you. I might be joining you. We'll find out. And I think that's going to be pretty wild. So, any other questions? Please look into Fern. Now, I flipped Fern back in the day. I'm just looking at this right now. Yep. Yeah, I flipped Fern, and that was back in 21, I believe I did. I luckily got out of that one in time, and I took it right to ILIS. I'm not gonna lie. That one is still on my watch list. I'm waiting for it. You know, we're gonna see what happens. In regards to the share structure, what they have in the pipeline, and I haven't really heard much, and I don't want to speak on Fern like right now just because, sorry guys, give me 1 second. Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't want to speak on Fern. I haven't done my DD on it. You know, I did it to flip with. I was going based off of just YouTube videos and stock twits and stuff, and I bought in, got out quick, and went right back to ILIS. So I mean, can you please take a look at DPLS? I will. I'll look into all these ones, all these tickers that you guys are throwing at me. I will put together maybe a collab video with a combination of these tickers. I have no problem doing that. Delicious bourbon here. Yep. I'm just scrolling through the chat real quick. So, yeah, I'll look into these. DPLS, that one isn't on my watch list. FERN is still on my watch list. I'll look through the charts. I'm not a technical analyst. I'll tell you that right now. I am absolutely not a technical analyst. So, but I'll do some digging into that one. It's been a while since I looked at it, and we'll see what happens. I don't know. It's just good to sort of be hanging out with you guys. Yeah. So I'll give $1 million to anybody who counted how many I've had during this this broadcast. No, but seriously, this is nice to do. I think I'm going to do this every 2 weeks just to share updates. Not just updates with stocks, but me personally on the journey of the real estate thing and, you know, me getting my ass kicked in karate. They gave it to me hard today. They really did. It was fun. But it was worth it. AITX. Yep. Actually, my brother brought that up to me actually earlier. So that's on the list too. I'm going to make sure that, you know, and if you guys got me on Twitter, go on any of my videos. My Twitter link is there. It's Buffalo Fireside. That's my Twitter handle. So check it out. I don't know. If you guys got any questions, just put them right in the chat. Yeah, this bourbon is like one of the best bourbons I've ever had. I gotta say, Lori, you knocked this one out of the park. Seriously, seriously. Mm. So, I mean, if I had to rank these stocks, I shouldn't have said that because now I sort of have to. I mean, ILIS is the top dog. It really is. Top dog. CYBL, if they could get the paperwork thing squared away and they could finally share with us what they've been working on and, share with us, those contracts, I think that is right there. I love the share structure of NUGN, Levental Group, Boxel. They have so many things going on, so that's it's hard to rank them, because you never know what they're going to do, but I don't know. The gamble for me, right now is Igpk. I mean, that's the big gamble for me. What they're going to do, we'll find out what they're going to do. I wish them all the success. Gene, if you're watching this, anybody from Igpk, you're always welcome to come on the show. And I got to say, Cgra, I think that thing is going to explode. I really do. I think it's going to, I think that thing's going to take off. And I'm not saying it's going to happen next week, or I'm not going to give you any price targets. That's not what I'm going to do. Luckily, I got a decent average. It could go down 50% tomorrow, and I could say, well, maybe my average isn't that good. But, these are shares that, these are companies that I'm looking at completely long-term. Now, if they do go on a tear, and they're up to 10, 12 cents, yeah, you're going to see me totally ripping off some profit. And you know what? And I'm at the point now where I do bring a lot to ILIS that I would flip if that opportunity presents itself, but I wouldn't necessarily. For me now, I'm trading to get profit and get money in my pocket at this point, just to have. You know what I mean? I have bills that I want to pay, and I want to sort of expedite my student loans. I want to expedite my mortgage. That's one thing. Anybody that has a mortgage, I was just talking with my wife about this. And she was, she was basically saying how she's going to be putting extra money on the mortgage to try and pay it off quicker. We want to pay off that thing as much as we're able to. So, if you have a mortgage, you want to get that thing just out of the way. So that way, if you sell it or if you move, you're getting 100% of your money back and what the value is worth. And here in Buffalo, New York, we've seen a huge rise in property values. I mean, we paid about like $94,000 for our house. It's valued at like almost $200 now, which it's not worth $200,000. But it's a seller's market. So, but if I have to buy a house after I sell, I've looked at houses and you're not getting much more for the price that it's worth. So I'm gonna rent this puppy out. That's my goal, is to pay it off and being able to move and rent it, because I know everything that's been done to this house. So I could actually fix anything around here. And that's another thing. 10 years ago, I didn't pick up a tool. You own a home. Guess what ends up happening? Shit starts to break. All right, things go awry, and your foot's going through the floorboard of the bathroom. Yes, that's the truth. That actually happened. And then you rip it up, and that's it. It's just, well, you got to rip out the floor and redo the bathroom. But it's not like Money Pit. If you ever seen Money Pit with Tom Hanks, of the tub falling through the floor. I was just referencing that I think it was Rickers. I was mentioning that too. I actually was thinking about IQST earlier. That's on the watch list. I'm going to look into that. So that was pumped up pretty nicely, and it is where it is now. But we're going to see what happens. I'm actually, that's on my watch list, and I may dive into that one for the hell of it. Why not? Let me take a look right here. I just paid off my house, 30 years, paid it 10 years. Now it's time to pay myself rent. Turn a debt into an asset. That is awesome. Michael, congratulations. That's freaking cool. That is absolutely awesome. And I think that the American dream is to be debt-free. You know what I mean? Pay off the house, pay off the student loans. That is so damn important. It really is. So kudos to you. And, I know people, I have a buddy that they refinanced, and it was one of the best decisions they made, because I think they switched from a 30-year to a 15-year, and they didn't even end up paying that much more because there's so much interest that you pay, But, yeah, I mean, congratulations to you. That's awesome. Very, very cool stuff. Oh, my God, I'm losing my voice. So I think we should do this every other Saturday. I really, really do. I'll get better at it. So if you have any suggestions, let me know. But like I said, it's pretty cool to be live. It's like real. It's like you don't get a second take because you messed up a word or your brain stops working. I want to thank, seriously, every one of you for joining me, and this has been really, really cool. let's see. Nope. Nothing else. AXXA. Put it on the list. IQST. I'll put it on the list. But, all right. Listen, guys, that's all I got today. I know I'm probably forgetting something. I'm probably forgetting something that I probably wanted to mention. But, hey, I could do that in another video. Listen, guys, go check out some of my content. At Buffalo Fireside is the handle on Twitter, and check out the Patreon. All right, let's build and get some merchandise. My wife got me this awesome Buffalo Fireside Chats mug for my birthday last September, and I want to make those available to you guys. So I'm going to figure out a way to sort of market those to you guys, because I really like the logo. I'm not going to lie. I do love my logo. It's great. I love it. I don't know. That's just me being the optimist. Maybe the logo sucks. Maybe one of you out there is like, dude, the logo sucks real bad. But I don't know. I like it. That's all that matters. So I will. AAXXA looks great on paper, but everyone thinks it's a scam. Yeah, you hear a lot scam. It's a scam. They said Brett Rosen wasn't at the freaking shareholder meeting. I have a picture with him. I talked to the guy and his wife. I think it's just like, it's stupidity. I mean, I would suggest to everybody, do your DD, go on StockTwits, or don't go on StockTwits. Well, see a little bourbon, and I'm telling you to do the wrong thing. Submerge yourself in StockTwits. That's what you should do. No, stay away from that. It's toxic. Do your own DD. Use OTCmarkets.com. You're going to get all the substantive information right there. Everything down, the security details, the forums, the news. And you know what? You can reach out to the companies as well. Believe it or not. And one thing that I'm learning here is that companies are very quick to actually respond to you and give you information. And you can always second check that information as well. So, you know what? DJ MMPT, great chat. Thank you for joining. Seriously, I plan on doing this much more often, and hopefully, I just thank you guys for being on this journey with me, and I plan on doing this again in 2 weeks. I would love to figure out how to do like a group chat with it. So I don't know. All right, guys, listen, that is all I got today. Cheers to every single one of you. And remember, there is more that binds us than breaks us. You guys have an absolutely awesome day. We'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.